Hi, this is J. Paul Duplantis with the Emergence, and this is the final episode of the Emergence Podcast. So I put quite a bit of thought into it. I've been working on the Emergence for almost 2 years, coming in November, and haven't really felt that I've had the traction that I possibly was thinking I could gather. Not that popularity is an important thing to me. It's actually kind of against the grain of what I'm talking about anyways, but it just feels like something I've been chasing for way too long, probably 25 years now when you think about the overall arc of these ideas. My last video that I did, which is called We Have a Communication Problem, was going to set up a number of challenges that I was going to create myself for technologists and funders to be able to build these technologies I've been talking about forever. And the good news is these technologies are being built. I'm just not going to be the one to really be in the middle of it. And to be honest with you, I've had a certain level of frustration in engaging with people in this space. I'm not a technician. I'm not a developer. I'm not a funder. I'm not somebody that really is in the know. I'm really more of an observationalist, a little bit of a kind of a passive mindset. I've wanted to build these technologies. I've tried to build the technologies in the past, and it's just not my path. I really just came to the conclusion of engaging with the communities. Especially this last thing I've really wanted to do, which is really speaks to the core of the Emergence, was this open source software development through not-for-profit. Okay, and when I finally came across that when I was visiting in Colorado, I fine-tuned it, and I feel really good about the video that I did with We Have a Communication Problem. I really do, because I think it really speaks to where we should go in the future. This idea of money, profit motive being at the center of how we communicate is a fundamental problem, and I just hold to that. I've engaged with people in the communities and the technology communities over the years, and especially now that I've been trying to engage on this idea of not-for-profit. I mean, people will be paid, developers will be paid under this concept, absolutely, with open source software. But it's this, I think, this natural tendency of building these technologies that the developers and the people just ultimately want to have a taste of that being a unicorn, the $1 billion prize at the end. And I don't know. I just personally don't think I'm going to be able to shake that. I don't think I'm going to really be able to resonate in the community. I pray that people start to build under these types of mindsets to where it's a purpose motive. It's not a profit motive. Now, I'm not, again, like I say, and we have a communication problem. It's not the fact that what we talk about is that they can't generate a profit. It's just these mechanisms, Twitter, Facebook, Google, YouTube. It's just this motive of having to drive huge gains with few people controlling it at the very top. That is a fundamental problem. So I argue we should be building open source technologies that are paid for by interests, social impact investors, philanthropists that don't expect a profit to build these things, and the things that they receive out of it is a return on the interaction, as opposed to the return on investment. They're seeing that communities are using these apps effectively to help people grow, to help communities grow, to groups to grow, people individually. I mean, I had intentions of going into entire sectors of society, such as the mental health area. I mean, it could go into sports, it could go into education, into learning. I was going to do all these challenges, and that was the idea of my video for We Have a Communication Problem. As I started to lay out one on staffing and recruiting, since I am recruiting now, I really started to work on these ideas for specific ideas around the challenges, and it just seemed like for naught. It just seems like I'm not the one to be the voice to carry this through. There's other people that are working on this. They can have their frustrations, which is fine. I've found a job. I found a career path that I think is going to lead me to, right out in the sunset, where I'm engaging people. I feel like I'm sharing value, that I'm getting value from where I'm plugged in into this space and this staffing space of truly engaging with markets and aligning talent with needs. So I'm good there. I'm on a good path. Maybe all along my test on the emergence and things I've been involved with is my not being really plugged into something so resonantly like I am now. But I've just come to the realization I just can't continue to chase this. I'm going to do other things. I'm actually working on a novel talking about the greater concept of these ideas, but not really related to technology. And I think that's the thing that really is driving me away, is this idea of how we can harness technology to make ourselves better. And when I plug into these communities of people that are building these tools, these open source tools, I still get this sense of that it's really difficult for them to walk away from the idea of if they build it, they should be rewarded highly. And I'm not saying they're all doing that, but there's just thread of the profit motive that just continues to come back. And it's incredibly frustrating for me. And I'm just spitting against the wind is what I feel, and not complaining about anything. I've enjoyed doing it. I've talked to some wonderful, wonderful people in this quest. And I'm not saying all the people that I've interviewed at all are the ones that I'm frustrated with. It's just the overall scope of the industry of this, of where it's going. And, it's really highlighted by the fact of Elon Musk and Twitter and what he's doing and engaging with. Not bagging on Elon Musk, but the whole thing is a bit of a joke. I mean, even with Bitcoin and crypto, it's just, can't people see that this is going to end up going where we already have been? I mean, that's where I personally, it's my own judgment, my own personal judgment, but this Web 3.0 is, we're just going in circles, in my opinion. And but there are some core things. There are some core technologies that are being built that I think can break this veil. And there are some core people that are involved that can break through. And I hope they do. I'm going to still stay tuned in and interested in this subject, but I'm just not going to be a vocal piece of it. I'm tapping out, if you will. And I feel good about it. And I feel good what I've done. And I'm going to leave all these episodes up for future reference. I'm going to keep them up for as long as I'm around. And somebody comes across them in the future and has ideas they want to take that I've shared or shared from other people in the communities, go for it, absolutely, because I think it's incredibly important that we harness these technologies to make ourselves better so we can help others. That's at the core. There is a certain point of, to me, personally, that I believe in something higher, something outside there that drives us. So it's about being a part of something greater, to help serve yourself and to help others. That's the secret sauce for me, and I will continue to fight for that personally and my people that I engage with. But as far as this whole idea of technology is going to solve these problems, I was chasing that for a long time, and now I'm going to give up on that a little bit and let other people continue their fight. I'm just out of the fight. So I really do appreciate the few people that have actually tuned in. I really appreciate you listening. And people that I've engaged with in the past, that I've talked to, I've really learned a lot from you, and sincerely appreciate the engagement. And I wish everybody the best in the future. And I really do appreciate you, and I especially appreciate the people that are on the front lines that are building these open source technologies, and just have a mindset that, if you're paid, it's great, but just this idea of chasing the huge rewards, even though it's open source, even though it's decentralized, even though it's resonant. What are you chasing? What's the purpose of what you're building? And whether you're funding it or building it, or you have the ideas behind it, why are you building it? And everything is fine as far as making profits, but this idea of how we communicate that is tightly around a few people that are controlling how we communicate is troublesome. So that's it. That's what I believe. And the people that are fighting for these technologies, keep up the good fight and bring it through to the to the future. So for future generations, that we can help ourselves become better. And I wish you all the best. And thank you so much for tuning in to the Emergence.